This is a label somebody at Twitter slapped on it just the other day. Look at those words at the top there. Russia state-affiliated media. Now, Twitter doesn't put those labels on everybody's account. They don't put it on Polly's, for example. It's highly selective labeling. So I thought we'd get George Galloway in to ask him about it. George, I take it this just came out of the blue to you. 1 minute you switched on, you opened up your laptop and you found that they'd done this to you.
Yeah, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, without warning, without any questions or seeking of clarification, I got designated with what is intended to be the mark of Cain on my forehead, undoubtedly. And it's bizarre. I keep thinking that it must be some mistake, surely, as Private Eye used to say, because when I did present a program on RT, I had no designation. For years, I presented a program on RT when they were handing out these labels, and I didn't get one. But now that I don't present a program on any Russian media, can't do so, indeed would now be committing a criminal offense if I did so, suddenly I'm slapped with this ludicrous label. So I had a conference with my counsel this afternoon, and if they don't take it off, we will seek legal redress.
What I find interesting about this is the way they do it to some people and not to others. Now, as you've just said, you used to be a presenter on the RT channel, which Ofcom has now kiboshed in the UK. An old friend of mine, the American comedian Dennis Miller, he hosted a show there. He succeeded Larry King, who's a paragon of American broadcasting, on RT. And Dennis hasn't had his Twitter account labeled Russia-affiliated state media. People talk about the algorithms, but I actually think this is sort of totalitarian interns actually going. I detect a human hand labeling you on this.
I've got no doubt that it was somebody in sneakers and skinny tight jeans in the London headquarters that did this. It was not an algorithm. The timing of it, I think, was significant. I had just crossed 400,000 followers at 3 p.m. yesterday. And by the way, it's gone up 12,000 since I sent that tweet that you just showcased. It was obviously a decision made that I was getting just a bit too big for my boots. My audiences were getting too big, my following too big. By the way, of course, I'm not foolish enough to think everyone who follows me agrees with me, but most people, as you were just saying in your excellent monologue before you went to your Australian guest, most sensible people want to hear more than one side of an argument. How else can you make a sensible decision if you're being deprived of the other side of the story? And all of us are adult enough to know that there's at least two sides to every story. So I'm guessing it's a human intervention. I'm hoping that Elon Musk, the great white hope of social media, will intervene and will get this struck off. If not, then it's to court we go.
Well, I'm interested in this because when you say there's at least two sides to every story, and you're interested in hearing all of them, you're a man of the left. There's you don't deny it. But you have a particularly iconoclastic view of the passing scene. You have surprising opinions. When I look at it, it seems pretty clear that there's woke lefties embedded in all these social media platforms that, generally speaking, do down the right. So I get labeled routinely as misinformation. There's warnings put on my tweets or Facebook posts. I don't care about any of that, really. But I know it's coming from the left, and it's usually against the right. So I'm interested, now that it's come from a man of the left, are you getting support from the British left for your present situation? Have you had a lot of British lefties saying they got to put an end to this?
No, it depends what you mean by left. I call them liberals, but I agree with you. They've come to be what is seen as the left, but I don't regard them as left. I'm not left, actually. I'm a socialist, which I think is increasingly a very different thing. When I supported Brexit, appeared on stage with Nigel Farage and so on, they branded me as they branded you on many occasions, and others like Farage, like Banks, like Lawrence Fox, and so on. And of course, I supported the Union in the 2014 Scottish referendum. Some people were kind enough to say my contribution was quite important in the victory there. So I don't take positions that the left, or the left Wafa, as they're now known, try to bombard me into taking. I do what I think is right. And I supported Donald Trump when he was banned from Twitter. I defended Nigel Farage when Alex Salmond and the SNP tried to run him out of a town in Edinburgh, tried to keep him off BBC Question Time and so on. So I believe in free speech. I'm a true believer in it. I think that I want 1,000 flowers to bloom and everyone free to look at and smell each and every flower and choose which fragrance, which colors they like best. That used to be a commonplace in British society. Certainly was ABC on what was then called the left, but no longer. The fascists in today's society are far more likely to be blue-tick liberals, even calling themselves progressives with a guardian under their arm. They're the people from whom what is present-day fascism is emanating.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. It shouldn't be a left-right thing. But when basically what you call the blue tick liberals are basically saying you can't say that, they're in the wrong. Because when you're the side saying you can't say that, we can't argue with you. But we can slap a label on you that says you're just an apparatchik of Vladimir Putin. That's a sign that they've lost the argument and they're in the wrong. Well, we're going to watch this. We're going to watch this case, George, and do let us know how your council's efforts to stick it to Twitter shake out, because they're the real enemy in this situation.